Welcome to C&B. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patnankar. Thank you for joining us here on the NDTV network. A big clash waiting to happen in the full-size SUV space. Jeep Meridian taking on the benchmark, the Toyota Fortuner. I know a lot of you have been wanting to see this big battle, and so let's jump into this comparison. Pratik Rakshit spent time with both these beasts to bring you this.
Over the years, a few car makers tried to squeeze into the 7-seater full-size SUV space like the Mahindra Altroz G4, MG Gloster and even the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace. But none managed to dent the supremacy of the Toyota Fortuner.
The Ford Endeavour was one of the mightiest opponents that the Toyota Fortuner ever faced in this country. But unfortunately, the company had to bow out and leaving the 7-seater SUV space to this Goliath. But now in comes the Jeep Meridian. It is a true blue Jeep in the truest form. A David, if you must say. It has the Jeep's DNA, it has its off-road credentials as well, and it has a very distinct styling that is very typical of the American car maker. But does the Jeep Meridian have enough to take on the Toyota Fortuner? Well, that's why we are here today to test out the David versus the Goliath battle. Now we can't move forward without addressing the elephant in the room. Well, two elephants for that matter. We have the Toyota Fortuner, which is a clear victor when we talk about dimensions. It is longer, it is taller, but the Meridian is slightly wider and it has a longer wheelbase, which we feel would give some extra inches for the passengers inside. But the Fortuner has a superior ground clearance. It has a superior boot space, but it does lose out on that extra kilos, almost 360 kilos heavier than the Meridian.
As expansive as the Fortuner's equipment list is, the car looks gorgeous. While its size is imposing, there's enough character and flair to complement the large footprint of the car, making it look like a spaceship on wheels. The Meridian, however, has a clear-cut design approach. It looks imposing and aggressive. The rear section seems sober though. The flared wheel arches and the high-profile fat tires help in its road presence. Overall, the Meridian looks sophisticated and classy when compared to the Japanese. The Fortuner's interior is surprisingly plush for a butch SUV like this. The front seats are ventilated and can be adjusted electrically. The 8-inch touchscreen seems out of place and a larger screen would have helped. There's Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but no wireless connectivity or even charging. The Meridian, however, has a swanky looking cabin. The panoramic sunroof, a 10.1-inch touchscreen, a 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster, ventilated power seats in front, and power tailgate are part of the top trims. You also get Jeep's Uconnect suite. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto besides a wireless phone charger are a much needed prerequisite nowadays.
Now, most of the travel on these big SUVs is going to be in the second row. So let's check it out. So there's ample amount of knee room. There's a decent under thigh support as well. Lumbar support is also not that bad. There's also a decent amount of headroom, and this center armrest will also aid you if you're just traveling two persons. Apart from this, you get a 12-volt socket, which is kind of outdated now considering all the other cars get either a Type C or a Type A or both for the rear passengers. AC is automatic, you can control it from here, you can also switch it off, and also you can regulate the blower. The mounted AC vents is a nice touch and will keep you cool during peak summers. But the important question is, can the second row fit 3 people? We are gonna test it right now. So as you saw, getting inside the third row of the Fortuner is not that difficult because the second row seats tumble and slide, giving you easy access. But there's no knee room, there's no headroom, there's not much. Now the seats of the Meridian are positioned higher, so you get decent under thigh support as well as a larger squab, so that seating for longer journeys is going to be comfortable. The extra wheelbase that we were talking about doesn't really translate to as much of a knee room that we would have loved that we had seen on the Fortuner as well. Headroom is decent, but the fun fact is going to be that most of you are going to be here, and seating for 3 persons could or could not be a squeeze. So let's check that out first. The one-touch tumble of the second row really helps you get inside the third row, but you'll have to wiggle your way in. It's not going to be comfortable for adults getting into the third row. For kids, for your pets, it's decent amount of space, but for adults, it's not at all comfortable. And because the second row does not slide, there's no way that you can get extra knee room. It's going to be very and extremely tight.
Both engines offered on the Fortuner are turbocharged. The petrol version is paired to a 4x2 system in both manual and automatic versions, while the diesel version equips both 4x2 and 4x4 systems to its manual and automatic versions. The Legender, meanwhile, just gets a diesel 4x2 automatic variant. The Jeep Meridian gets the 2-liter turbo diesel engine from the Compass in both manual and automatic versions. Surprisingly though, its state of tune is identical to its younger sibling. The difference in power on both these cars is massive, but we believe Jeep missed out on an opportunity to offer a more powerful version. There's ample power and torque, which is not a problem, but a car of this size needs a stronger output, especially when competing with a powerhouse such as the Fortuner. It was time to take both the cars out, and I first hopped into the Toyota Fortuner. Our test vehicle is the top of the line diesel automatic version.
The power delivery on the Fortuner is quite linear, and there's ample amount of torque available right throughout the rev band, and that's thanks to the 3 driving modes. But in city, you will be using, for most of your time, would be using the eco and the normal mode, which is also tuned for fuel efficiency. But if you want something like a full-blown experience that feels like you've been summoned by the god of thunder, then you need to switch on to the sport mode, because that's the one that will give you the ultimate experience of driving the Fortuner. Getting straight into the Meridian after driving the Fortuner, and you can feel the restrained nature of the engine. It's not like it's not responsive off the line, but it's not exactly rev happy, or even it doesn't feel like it wants to move or take you ahead with that urgency. But a gentle tug to the accelerator and you can feel that the engine is there to back you up. It won't leave you asking for more, honestly. And that's a good part about the car, because Jeep says that this Meridian is not tuned for a rugged, a rough ride. It's more tuned for a comfortable ride, and even the low NVH levels helps in adding to that comfortable drive factor that Jeep is actually looking out for.
Speaking of broken roads, we chose this specific spot to test out the off-road credentials for both these SUVs. It is time to get dirty. A quick background check will tell you that both models get hill descent control and 4-wheel drive, so going over slush and boulder-laden patches were effortless. But there was a difference in the way they went about. The Fortuner felt the most sure-footed and rugged, crawling up rocks with surprising ease. The approach angle of 29 degrees and the departure angle of 25 degrees helped a lot while making difficult maneuvers. The Meridian too managed to keep up with the Fortuner, and that too in auto mode. There are other modes as well, but we didn't require them. Meridian proved to be capable, though the low-end responses did require very precise flexing of the right foot. But the Fortuner is a different beast altogether. There's no doubt that the Fortuner is an expensive proposition. Of course, it has more trims, a petrol version, and even more powerful Legender version to choose from. But once it goes on road, the price seems to be on the higher end of the spectrum compared to what it offers. No doubt the emotion behind owning a Fortuner is far more superior than its price tag. But with the Meridian in the picture now, you get an equally capable alternative at a much lower price.
The Toyota Fortuner is your quintessential SUV. It is the default buy for most of the car owners. And why not? It has its strength. It is hungry to perform. It has off-road chops that doesn't shy it away from getting its wheels dirty. The high price point of 50 lakh rupees doesn't exactly scream sophistication, but then again you have the brand name, you have the Toyota name behind it. It's easy to own and has a great resale value. The Jeep Meridian blends on-road and off-road capabilities quite seamlessly and has enough in it to take you for a gala event in the evening. The Jeep Meridian is what the mind offers. The Toyota Fortuner is what your heart would desire. But for us, it is the Jeep Meridian that has the substance and is poised enough to take on the Fortuner in this 7-seater full-size SUV space, and that's why is also the winner of our comparison.
BMW's baby sport bike, the G310RR, is finally here. It's made in India, of course, with TVS Motor Company's collaboration with BMW Motorrad. And it joins the G310 family, BMW's G310 family, with the G310R, G310GS. There is the third model, the G310RR. You've of course seen this bike in the TVS Apache form, the RR310. It's the same bike essentially, same bodywork, same chassis, same engine. But this one gets the BMW badging, of course, in the top spec Style Sport Edition. It gets very nice looking BMW Motorsport colors. We'll ride it today and see if it makes for a good purchase or not, and tell you all about it.
The BMW G310RR has familiar performance. After all, it has the same chassis and engine specifications as its previous counterpart. Acceleration is linear with a strong mid-range and enough to keep things entertaining without becoming overwhelming. There are some minor vibes to be felt around 5000 RPM but they smoothen out once you hit the power band and keep the engine spinning above 5500 to 6000 RPM. In all, the G310RR offers a relaxed, easygoing and refined experience, something best experienced out on an open road. The G310RR makes for a very good commuter which looks good, has comfortable ride quality to tackle all kinds of obstacles you may come across on the daily ride. And when you do show it a twisty road, the G310RR is impressive in every way. The bike remains planted and stable, and there's enough stopping power from the brakes to shed speed in a hurry. Like the TVS, the BMW G310RR has the same 4 riding modes: track, urban, sport and rain, with each mode offering different throttle response and ABS sensitivity. Maximum power and torque dialed down, as well as top speed limited to 125 km/h in rain and urban modes.
So if you want to gain an entry into the BMW Motorrad brand, the G310RR certainly offers a very good option. It's accessible, easy to ride, got decent enough performance for everyday riding and of course the occasional long distance ride as well. To start track riding, occasional track riding, the G310RR offers a very good package which is not intimidating, so you can build your skills riding on track. And in those BMW Motorsport colors in the Style Sport edition, the G310RR looks absolutely smashing. It looks like a much bigger bike than it really is. To me, of course, at the price close to 3 lakh ex-showroom, the miss is Bluetooth connectivity in this day and age, which you get in the TVS's version in the Apache RR310. Of course, the RR310 also offers the factory custom option with the build-to-order package, where you get adjustable suspension, raised foot pegs, and a different hunkered down handlebar for track use, which you don't get in the G310RR. But if you already have a bigger BMW Motorrad motorcycle, you want something compact, something for everyday use, you can certainly consider the G310RR.
In the BMW Motorsport colors, the G310RR certainly strikes a beautiful pose. The racy graphics and change in color makes the G310RR look premium and aspirational, although under the skin it shares almost everything with the TVS Apache RR310. The 17-inch cast alloy wheels are also same, but the brakes are different, as well as the tires. The BMW gets regular discs shared with its other 310 siblings, and the tires are Michelin Pilot Street, unlike the stickier Michelin Road 5 units on the TVS.
The 310RR has got quite a nice engine. Not very intimidating performance really, but if you keep it in the power band, it's got enough and more performance to keep you satisfied. Out on the highway, I saw a speedo indicated speed of close to 140 before I slowed down because it's too dangerous riding at those speeds. But yes, 100 kilometers per hour, you can cruise very comfortably. And if you keep it in the power band, gearbox, slick gear shapes, overall performance is quite nice, ride quality is quite nice, handling is spot on. So yes, this package will certainly suit all your needs if you're looking for an entry-level sport bike.
The BMW G310RR does make for a striking package, particularly in the top spec Style Sport edition with BMW Motorsport colors. Even for the standard variant, the price is at least a 20,000 rupees increment over the TVS Apache RR310 it's based on. The Style Sport edition becomes even more expensive, but in the BMW Motorsport colors, the G310RR does carry the baby RR look very effectively and convincingly, with a level of performance and dynamics that is quite impressive. You could still argue that it's comparatively expensive and misses out on Bluetooth connectivity, better tires and optional adjustable suspension. But the G310RR will also set its sights on overseas markets around the world, where it will make a bold statement as the entry-level RR from BMW Motorrad, made in India.
That's the latest from BMW Motorrad here in India. Please react to it, react to everything else. And by the way, if you want to understand the exact categorization of SUVs in India, please go to our YouTube channel and we will explain to you where each SUV slots into this market. With that, it's goodbye. Please join me next week, and until then, don't forget to wear your seatbelts and helmets.